Hey,
Hey, there he
hey,
is.
that
Hello, everyone.
magical. Look at that
Hello, hello.
background. Look at that background too.
Yes.
Look at
All
that.
right.
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Love it. We got to play a game. How many collectibles do people think are back there?
Do you know how many miniatures are back there? Did you guys count? You guys didn't count them, right? You didn't count them.
No, we
No.
don't even count.
That would be a
That's
fun
cool,
game,
man.
though. Would be a fun game.
Would
Well,
be,
thank you
yeah.
so much for being here and being a part of this and taking time again out of your weekend to be a part of this and being here with us, sharing how you work and how you guys at Loot Studios use ZBrush to create miniatures. We're really excited to have you.
It's an honor of mine. I follow ZBrush Summit since the very beginning,
Oh, yeah.
and it's an honor to be here.
Awesome,
Well,
man. No,
we
it's an
couldn't
honor
be
to
more
have you.
excited to have you. Yeah, we couldn't be more excited to have you. So
Yep.
we're going to let you take it away. We're going to kind of now be in the background, then looking at questions that we can maybe throw at you as they come through. But we want you to have all the time you can to share your work and show everybody what you guys do at Loot Studios. So thank you so much for being here. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you
Get
very
away.
much. Thank you, Paul. So, everyone, it's a real honor to be here at the ZBrush Summit this year. My name, as was presented, is Robson Barros, and I've been sculpting in ZBrush for 7 years now. I'm currently the art manager at Loot Studios, and I've been with Loot since the very beginning. I actually started out as a 3D sculptor, working directly on our early miniatures, and over time, I grew to the role of coordinator, leading projects and helping shape our production workflow. Today, I oversee both production and pipeline and the art direction for Load Studio subscriptions projects, making sure that each release maintain our creative vision and standards quality. And before we start, I want to share something that's a little fun piece of history. Let's actually start with a statue and collectibles curse, using ZBrush, of course. Before Loot even existed, our co-founder, Alvaro Ribeiro, on top, let me circle here, here's on top, formerly XM Studios and Primal One and many others, was teaching artists from all over Brazil and the world how to sculpt in ZBrush. I was lucky enough to be one of his first students. Many of them are still with us today, and together we helped shape the company's artistic identity from the very beginning. ZBrush has been the center of my professional journey from the very start. As you can see on the bottom is a progression that I had on the ZBrush class of our photo. On the left, of course, is before, and the right is the after. This tool, it's not only shaping my career, but also become the foundation of everything we built at Loot. So being here today and an event that celebrates ZBrush in its community feels bit like coming full circle, you know. Let me pass the next
Yeah, well,
slide.
we're excited to have you. This is awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it started that way. That's awesome.
Yeah. For those who might not know Loot, Loot is a creative studios focused on high-quality digital miniatures for 3D printing. We've been around for more than 5 years now, and in that time, we have sculpted over 3,000 unique characters and creatures, everything from tiny goblins to massive dragons. We release completed themed bundles every month with heroes, monsters, terrain, lore, and concept art for tabletop gamers, painters, and collectors all around the world. Our mission is to tell stories through sculpture. Every miniature is a small world of its own, and every detail, from the pose to the base, should say something about who that character is. Before I get into the details, I want to show you a quick video, kind of a best of loot, that highlights some of our work our team has produced over the years.
5 years ago, a spark was lit. A dream forged in passion, imagination, and resin. But it wasn't just our dream. From the first tavern door we opened, you were there. Together, we raised our mugs and began crafting a story unlike any other. We ventured through Panshaw, shouted "Ahoy!" on the decks of pirate ships, faced legendary dragons in the skies above kingdoms. We walked the path of songs and sins, blazed through neon streets, and braved epic journeys. Because loot has never been a solo quest. It's a guild, a community of creators. We don't just scope miniatures. We shape possibilities. And with every paint stroke, every dice roll, you gave our work purpose. You've shown us that the best stories aren't just told, they're lived. One adventure at a time. So here's to 5 years of shared wonder, and to the stories still waiting to be told. Let's create fantastic stories.
Wow, that's so cool.
That was
That's so
awesome.
cool.
That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready to work for you guys. Come
Yeah.
on.
So,
Are you guys hiring? Do you know if you guys are hiring? I was going to look on your website. Do you have a place on your website? Because people are already asking, I think, about that a little bit.
yes, we have an email. Every time someone is interested in working with us, we follow forward this email.
Okay.
But constantly, we always looking for great talented artists. Always.
Great. That was an awesome video. That was a great video, man. Tell your team that was awesome.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
They will be very happy.
Yeah.
So these are just a few examples of what we have done over the years. You can probably tell the variety is a big part of what we love. From fantasy to sci-fi, dark and stylized to realistic. Each project challenges us to push our knowledge in ZBrush a little further. So at Loot, our approach to sculpting is driven by one principle. Every miniature must tell a story. It's not just about technical excellence. It's about creating a sense of emotion, weight, and purpose in every piece. We like to think that if a painter or a gamer can look at one of our models and instantly imagine who the character is, or what is happening on that scene, then we done our job right. Now, let's talk about how all of this come together, because producing so many models every month takes a lot of structure and teamwork. Our process at Loot starts long before any sculpting begins. It starts with research. The lore team defines the universe, the backstories, the relationships between characters. That gives us a strong emotional and visual foundation for the process. At the same time, the marketing team provides us with input on what our community loves, what's trending, and which type of models or poses, creating more engagement or painting appeal. Every creative team at Loot gathers references, not just as professionals, but as fans. We share the same passion as our audience. Once the team is approved, the concept art team translates those ideas into visuals, exploring silhouettes, composition, storytelling, and moods. Each model goes through multiple rounds of review, artistic feedbacks, printability tests, and storytelling adjustments to make sure it fits the world perfectly. We also have technical specialists who handle mesh optimization, thickening delicate parts, and ensuring everything prints beautifully at 32 and 75 millimeters scale. It's a collaborative process, and ZBrush sits at the center of it all. It's where the stories become tangible. And later in this talk, I will go deeper into some key topics that connects all of this, like engineering, supports, and finishing, to show how we make sure every model is both beautiful and printable. Now, let's explore our ecosystem of products. This, for example, is an image of a full bundle that we release each month. Our main focus, of course, is on miniatures. Every month, we release 40 to 15 new miniatures designed for painters, players, and collectibles all over the world. Each model is fully tested and optimized for 3D printing, which is our primary technology on resin for high-quality details. We also print many of our larger projects and props using filament printing, which allow us to handle bigger scales efficiently while still maintaining quality. We also have props like this one. The prop line that started as a small experiment on a single bundle and quickly became a fan favorite. Prop lets us bring digital sculptures into the real world, like through wearables, items, display pieces, and home decor. Working at a life-size scale introduces new challenges like weight, ergonomics, and scale accuracy. But it's incredibly rewarding to see people physically interact with our designs. Beyond these two, we also develop other lines like statues, collaborations between companies, Viking sagas in the form of huge bundles, and rewards for the community, each with its own technical and artistic focus. At LUT, we took ZBrush not just as a sculpting tool, but as a creative playground, a space where concept and execution can coexist. Many of our bundles involve multiple artists work at the same time on the same project, sometimes dozens of sculptures that all need to feel like they belong to the same universe. Like, let me go back here, like this one. They seem like they belong to the same universe. And to maintain consistency, our 3D coordinators review every sculpt. There is Kyle, Pavanelli, and Diogo. They also were students of Alvaro in the very beginning. They are responsible for maintaining the quality, proportion, and artistic identity of every model across the project. Using ZBrush turntables, internal review sessions, and project management tools. They guide a continuous feedback pipeline that covers every step of production. Like the blockout phase, to ensure solid composition and gesture, faithfulness to the original concept, keeping the storytelling intact, readability adjustments, refining shapes so every element is clear, intentional at small scales. Now, I want to share some of the principles we apply every day when sculpting miniatures, especially at small scales. The concept quality. A great concept is like a map. It gives direction and purpose. All concept artists include notes, material callouts, and great rendering, as you can see, all of which help sculptors to make confident decisions, even before the sculpting begins. We are already thinking about the scale. For example, the wings of on the Sphinx, they will be cut. They will not be part of the final print. They will be as a separate piece. The pose balance for bending or warping, and possible support needs like wings. Wings are something that we always make sure they are separate from the characters because they have to have a special treatment for 3D printing. And then the concept is clear, like this one. The sculpting process becomes more fluent because the concepts already answer most of the technical questions before we even ask them. The primary forms. Primary shapes define the piece's overall balance and composition. They determine the scale and relationship between major elements, which is critical for small models. In this stage, we focus on making sure the silhouette and larger volumes, like you can see here, the silhouette of the character, the larger volumes, here and here, are all in the part of the first composition, which is critical for small detail models. In this stage, we are focused on making sure the silhouette and larger volumes are clean, readable, and harmonious. We avoid unnecessary overlapping between elements, and we visualize the model at reduced scales to ensure it remains clean, even when viewed from a distance. If primary forms aren't working, this is very important. If primary forms aren't working, no amount of details later will save the sculpt.
Robson, there's a question coming about asking about for printing. What printers
Yes.
are you guys using at your studio? And this is part of your process in this area.
Yeah.
That you guys are doing some test prints. Are you allowed to share what printers you guys are using for your?
Yes,
FDM
of course.
presence?
We use commercially available printers, the same as our public, because we want to see the same results that we have internally in their hands. We don't use fancy or very expensive printers that will not meet the expectation of the public.
Right. So you're doing tests on the printers that they're going to have at their house. So making
Yes.
sure
Like Lego. Like
how many printers? Wait, now I
Robson.
got to know how many printers do you guys? Do you know how many printers you guys have?
The printing room is right in front of me. I believe we have like 30 printers or something like that.
That's awesome.
A lot, you know.
That's a big room.
That's a lot.
Big room. That's a big room.
In the,
And what about
in the chat,
go ahead.
in the chat, Loot Studios is saying Elegoo, Anycubic, and Frozen.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
our main
At
brands.
consumer level.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Same thing for FDMs too. Or
Yeah.
just resin?
We are in FDM. We are a big fan right now on the latest Bamboo Lab printers.
Yeah,
They are
my favorite.
amazing.
That's my favorite. Yeah, they just work.
Yes, of course. If you have AMS on top above to print colorful, it's
Yeah,
print beautifully.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, guys, please feel free to keep putting questions because obviously Robson's not the only one here from Loot Studios. Loot Studios is here on their YouTube channel, so they can answer questions too that we don't always have to funnel to Robson as well. Thanks for taking that, Robson.
You can see this print on my screen.
Yeah, let's here we will make there. Now your
Yeah.
camera is full.
This is the
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the piece you're doing. Yeah.
yeah. This is the one.
Wow,
Let's go.
that's amazing.
The details you guys are kicking. It's just awesome. Beautiful.
So let's go to the secondary forms. After that, we move into the secondary forms. And this is where the sculpting really starts to find its identity. This stage is all about refining surfaces, adding structure, and define the character's personality through mid-level details. Folds in clothing, armor panels, buckles, and even big ornaments. But what makes this step special in miniature design is that we always think about the user experience. Let me share an example with you guys. Every shape from a bottom of a pouch needs to be scaled to the size of a brush tip. Edges need to be thick enough for the painting washes to flow naturally, and forms must be deep enough to catch light and shadow during painting. The goal here is to make sure the miniature is not just beautiful as a digital sculpture, but functional, readable, and rewarding to paint. Tertiary forms. So, in miniature sculpting, this is where restraint becomes essential. For example, a detailed leathery skin texture, like the wings of this dragon. It can look great in ZBrush, but when printed at 32 millimeters, it can easily get lost, or worse, can create a noise that ruins the surface if it will be too tiny. Overly fine details can also degenerate issues during prototyping, leading to islands that require extra supports. And in the finishing process, these micro textures are often the first to be lost when you are cleaning and sanding the print to remove the support marks. So we have to be smart about it. We rely on larger, readable textures that holds up in physical form. Or we leave space for painters to interpret the materials through their own style. So we have to remember that miniature painting is an art of itself, as you can see behind me. And it's part of the fun, letting the painter add their own style, their own layer of storytelling.
What's your minimum tolerance? Like you brought up a good point with the wings, right? And then you guys are printing them separate. What have you guys, because you are working on such a small scale, you're trying to get the beautiful details that you are getting. What is your guys' minimum tolerances that you do?
The minimal tolerance, we go about 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters.
2 millimeters.
And for like 75 millimeters. But when you work with many different scales, like a gargantuan dragon like this one, we have to consider a little bit more, right? We have to adapt. So each miniature, it's like a case to be studied. We have some principles that we follow, but the art is organic. So we have to adapt. We have to test and adapt always.
Okay. And someone's asking about, for you guys, your painting process. They're asking, what is the process you guys do? You guys use spray? I see you were hand painting, obviously, as well. Your team, they do their own painting as well.
Yeah, we do most of our painting internally, and is hand painted miniatures. We value deeply the miniature painting hobby. It's like
That's cool.
a very amazing art of itself, and we value deeply. We consider a lot those, and we get feedback from our painters on how to improve better our elements and shapes in our sculpts.
That's really cool.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome. Let's go through silhouette, gesture, and readability. These aspects are often underestimated, but can completely transform the success of a miniature. As I mentioned before, overlapping elements can become a real problem, not only for printing and finishing, but also for painting. Imagine trying to paint like metal, cloth, and skin in an area that is the size of a grain of rice. It's pretty difficult. That's what happened. That is what happens when the shapes overlap too tightly. Gesture, on the other hand, brings life to the character. It what gives rhythm and emotion to the pose, the flow of the body, the direction of the movement, the weight of a stance. A strong gesture communicates personality, even before you notice the details. So, in the end, our job as sculptors is to find balance between emotion and engineering, between storytelling and structure. That's what make ZBrush such a powerful tool for us miniature artists. It's allow us to build with precision while sculpting with feeling. Now I want to talk about the base of our miniatures. The base isn't just decoration. It's a part of the narrative. A bundle that can take place in a cave, for example. We will sculpt crystal, stalagmites, sometimes even leave open areas on the floor so the user can pour clean resin to simulate puddles or pools of water. We also balance the complexity by importance. Main heroes, like this one, get more elaborate bases, while troops or larger monsters get simpler ones for easy printing. If you print 10 copies, so if you print 10 copies of these rats, for example, it's a cool creature, but they always work in variety on a gameplay, in many numbers on a gameplay. So if you have a overly complex base, can be too tired for the too much work for the user. They also would appear repetitive on the gameplay. So we always aiming for balance. Giving complexity where it enhances the experience and simplicity where it improves practicality. These small details make a big difference. They give painters and players context and inspiration. But beyond the technical side, storytelling is also about emotion. A good miniature should make you feel something: admiration, curiosity, fear, even empathy. When we're sculpting, we ask ourselves, what is this character's story? What just happened before this moment? If the narrative comes through, that's what transforms a good sculpt into a memorable one. So I will be more technical now and talk about common pitfalls in prototyping. Prototyping is where art and engineering meet, and also where the smallest mistakes can affect the final experience for the user. At Elite Studios, we have learn a lot through trial and error through the years, and I want to share some of the most common issues we face. Like islands, one of the biggest technical challenges in 3D printing miniatures are islands. As you can see on the image, the red dots are the detecting software. Any slicer, any software that slice for 3D printing, they will detect islands. So this is as an example of one. As you can see on the arms, there are many red dots. The more islands a model has, the more support it needs, and the harder it becomes later for cleaning and sanding and finishing the miniature. Now, islands aren't the enemy. They are part of the process. Without them, there is no 3D printing. But our goal as an artist, as a technical artist, is to minimize them. That's the image on the bottom. After a quick pass of smooth, we take off this model about 16 islands. That is 16 less supports. In Loot, we handle all of supports manually, using a dedicated team of specialists who have spent years learning from client feedback and test prints. This hands-on approach gives our miniatures a unique signature, a clean, intentional surface and minimal printing scars. Let me change. So, overhangs. Another issue we constantly watch out for is overhangs, areas where part of the models extend supports without any supports underneath. Overhangs are natural, but if they left unchecked, they can create deformation or printing failure later on. Our strategy is to optimize for overhangs at the end of the sculpting process, not at the beginning. This allows the artist to stay creative and fluid during the sculpting phase without being constrained by technical details too early. I want to share with you a simple but effective habit. Let me pick up here. It's to use on-screen rulers and save the scale views, so you can alternate between them later. So if a miniature have 32 millimeters, we just pick up on the screen, put the ruler on the screen, and save that view. We have custom views, right? We have shortcuts to save our views. So we put it, we save them. We go to 75, do the same process. Here at Loot, we already print our 32 and 75 millimeters base mesh, so we can always orient by that. Is a cool, also another cool tip. It's a quick way to visualize legibility and strength without wasting time or resin on unnecessary prints. This practice helps maintain quality and save us countless hours during the production. Save some money also. Common issues. There are a few artistic mistakes. They are surprisingly common among miniature sculptors, especially when they are trying to starting out. The first one is underestimating the importance of primary and secondary forms. Many artists jump into details too quickly, but at small scales, the clarity of the larger shapes is what makes a model stands out. The second mistake is overvaluing texture, as I said before. With how skilled painters are today, and how the advanced paint materials are, it's often better to leave room for the artistic interpretation of the painters. Textures can always be added through paint, and that's part of the fun. Painters love discovering new ways to make a surface come alive. And finally, one of the most common traps, especially for artists learning to sculpting miniatures, is being too technical too soon. They get stuck trying to follow every best practice like a rule book and end up losing the artistic flow. So, if I can share an advice for you guys is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Trust your process and trust your eyes. You can always fix technical issues later. And by facing them, you will learn far more than by avoiding them. So let's go talk about a little bit about the finishing step. This is the moment when the artistic vision meets the real world experience. It's where we validate not only how good a model looks, but how it behaves, how it prints, how it's assembled, and how it feels on the user's hands. Quality control, as we were talking earlier. At Lut Studios, we have a dedicated finish team, professionals who are responsible for printing, cleaning, and assembling each models before even reaches the public. Their goal is to ensure every piece we release meets our internal standards of quality, durability, and usability, because many of our models are used in RPG gameplay. Every model goes through multiple rounds of validations. If any issue is found, whether it is a fragile part, unclear shape, or a surface error, the model is sent back to the responsible artist for adjustment and retesting. This back and forth between teams is essential. It's how we make sure that what leaves our puppet line is not just beautiful on screen, but also functional and reliable on real life. One of the key things that we keep in mind is that our customers are printing these miniatures at home. They don't have access to industrial grade machines or fancy tools. They use the same tools and printers we use in-house for testing. That's why we design with accessibility in mind. We never base our production on high-end printers or expensive resins that our users wouldn't have. Everything we test and release is created using commercially available printers and standard materials, so the results the community achieves are consistent with what we see internally. This is the support taking of a miniature. The fragile part is one of the most aspects to watch out for. And it goes far beyond a sword that might break or a tail that's still thin. It starts with the removal process itself. Think about it. The user often removes supports while the model is still partially covered in uncured resin, and visibility is low. If a part is too delicate or positioned in a risky angle, it might snap before even see it clearly. We also consider ergonomics. For example, spikes or sharp edges that could hurt the user while they are cleaning, handling the tool, or playing. Our finishing team reports all of these issues, and when necessary, we redesign parts to improve safety and comfort. In this example, from the concept to the printed version, we reduce the number of spikes and thicken them. The goal is always the same, to make sure that interacting with the model feels rewarding, not frustrating. Small elements in hard-to-paint areas are another critical point in the painting and finishing experience. Sometimes a design looks amazing in ZBrush, like this one. But like this inner area, they are covered by overlapping geometry on this root base. And we have to remove them to open area, like the example below, after we remove the parts. So a scalp, a sanding tool, a nail polish tool, we use a lot of those, can reach out, even a brush when painting. Also another example, a horn placed between fur and fire on a demo. Our team pays close attention to these situations. We identify zones where a painter's brush or a sanding tool might not fit, and we make subtle adjustments, changing angles or slightly separating layers to make sure those details are accessible. This may sound like a small thing, but it completely changes the user experience. It shows respect for the people who spent hours painting, cleaning, sanding up other models, and playing later. So the engineering issues, we analyze every model from an engineering perspective. Dynamic poses can lead to warping or bending during printing or coloring if the weight is improperly distributed. Like in this base, we added this blood waterfall so the miniature don't bend forward. Dynamic poses like this one can also generate thin structures, such in the wings or capes, in this case of this miniature both, are tested to avoid holes for printing failures. Let me show you an example, real practical. If you're sculpting a cape, let me say we slice this cape right here, and we see its thickness here, right? If you go make a concave brush, here is sculpting, and you put your standards and become thinner, and end up doing this. So you can make a detail. You still have space between them. But if it's thick enough, if it's not thick enough, it would create a hole when printed.
Do you use? I have a question. Do you use live boolean to test that out, or do you use ZBrush for that
Yes.
kind of troubleshooting? Which feature would you use?
We use everything. we use live boolean a lot to check thickness. I can show you if I have time, I can show you how we do this using
Cool.
live boolean.
Yeah, you got
So-
to give you your time check. You got about 15 minutes left. So
Okay.
we're up to time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And every correction that we make in this stage prevents the frustration later on for the end user. And that's something that we value deeply, because the finishing stage isn't just quality control. It's a preview of the user experience. For us, finishing is not the end of the process. It's where our work stops being a file and starts becoming someone's project, someone's passion. That's why we treat with the same care and creativity as any other steps of the pipeline.
So you were talking about the blood real quick, because you were talking about
Yeah.
obviously the balancing, so make sure it doesn't fall over. So
Yes.
what do you guys do to find making sure the weight is going to be right? How are you testing that? Someone was actually specifically, they took a class and their instructor that was teaching 3D printing from ZBrush out,
Yes.
that obviously they were saying contrapposto should be in every single print, obviously where the weight is just more onto one leg. But you guys got stuff like him. He's flying and floating in the air with a cape. So how do you guys figure out what is the weighting of this going to be? Are you doing it and then just printing it and seeing does it fall over, or are you doing things inside ZBrush?
We already previewed some things like, for example, the footprint of the base. It has to be a medium size 1 inch base. It has to be a playable character. So we have to work around this. So we calculate roughly the center of the gravity of the miniature, like here. He's positioned right on the center of the base. But the cape is adding a lot of weight in front of him. And right behind him, you can't see here, and this is like a smart thing that we do constantly. We put a piece of architecture here on the base. It's a gargoyle. He's on top of a building. So the plug we make he fits in the base is quite large. It's quite large. It's like this. So make sure if he falls, the base will fall, first of all. And we look at this model and think, yeah, that will solve the problem. But after we print it, he's still bending forward. So oh man, what we can do? So gargoyle expel water, right? How about we make some adjustments? A little bit piece of blood or water, depends on the painter here, and make sure he doesn't bend, because sometimes when we put the miniature on the desk, it will not bend. But if you tip him, if you do a little touch on him, he will fall. That's a lot what we consider, especially when we're doing busts. Busts have a lot of calculation for the center of mass, and you will, if you come here, you will constantly picking up a bust and do this with him to see if he will fall. If it's not falling, okay. If it's falling, we have to make adjustment. He recalculate the center of gravity and see how it behaves. That answers your question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It makes me think sometimes I do like the washer machine test. I put the component on, I put the washer machine on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's great. So
yep. Great. Yeah. Thank you. A great decision too with the blood. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lut Studios started with a ZBrush class, and in many ways we never stop learning. We experiment, we fail, we fix, and we improve. And through all that, we kept telling new stories through sculpture. For us, the magic of what we do is not just on the software or even the models themselves, is in the connection we create through them. Somewhere out there right now, there's someone printing one of our models. Another person is carefully painting it. In that moment, our work becomes theirs. It is transformed by the creativity, the colors, the imagination. That is what keeps us inspired, knowing that what we make in ZBrush becomes part of other people's histories. I give like a resume, like a short version of many aspects here, but I will, if you are interested, I will recommend you to follow these two QR codes, one for our 3D Printing Hero Academy and one for our YouTube. There we go much more deeper in each aspect that I talk right now. So, and in the 3D Printing Hero, you will follow quest as adventurer, and you will receive miniatures for free to test it out, to open ZBrush, to paint, and see if it connects with you. So I highly recommend this. So if you had time, I want to show you quick things that we can do in ZBrush for 3D printing.
Yep. Go ahead. You got
Please
9
do.
minutes. Go ahead.
How about we start with the cape issue
Ooh,
on doing
model,
live bullet,
yeah.
right?
Now you're getting Rodolfo excited here. Okay.
It's
Dude, I've been getting into miniature lately. Don't.
It's a very simple tip. I'm sure here. I put here. You can see my screen without legs, right?
Yep. You're good.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I will make this, let's say, this cube on the size of the cape. Separate him. Let me see. Okay, split hidden. Make sure he's on the boolean. Where's my life boolean? Here. So right now, the only thing that I have to do is moving him. This is like a simulation of a slice software when you see the layers of the sculpture. If I can make it more clear, let me color this here. And I can see not only the cape, but the whole miniature. And I can see if it is thick enough right here.
So do you guys do this with every model? Is this
Every
something
model.
every model you guys will do with every model?
After a while, we just do like this. Here, and flip the model, and I look here. And I know
you're flipping the normals. You're flipping the normals, yeah.
This is something that every miniature sculptor, every person that is making 3D printing should be the everyday, should get used to, is seeing your models flipped. And we have a lot of artists that they say the minds bend when seeing models on this way. But I have quite a tip that get me used to this. Let me show. Put it double. I will come here and pick up the slice curve. I will split the model in half. At least at the beginning, this helped me to do not have cross-eye when I was evaluating the model. In this, when you slice the model in half, you can check it out. You can, for example, check it out here, the thickness of the cape, for example.
Yeah, that's
you're
such a
doing
cool
this on your
tip.
decimated version. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah, it's such a cool tip. I do something very similar as well, so it's really cool to see what you guys are doing. Very similar
Mhm.
pipelines. And you're right. I used to get cross-eyed like that, flipping it. I was
Yeah.
like, what am I looking at? So, oh, this
I
is
feel
so
like
cool.
it's another
Actually,
game that can be made. The flip the normals. Get the model.
So another thing that is really cool to say is the contact points. For example, you have this tail of the character here that is quite thin. I save the models like on the, this is the 75 scale, right? And this is the 32 millimeters version. We see like this to compare the sizes. So seeing this, we can say his weapon is too thin. We can say the tail is thick enough, but it might break easily when you taking off the supports. So what we can do to help to this problem not happen? Use contact points. Like here, the tail is going through the cape and generate a hole that is outside actually a wall that make sure the length of the fragile part is reduced. So instead of this fragile part is this way, it stops here, then begins again here. So it optimizes. And we do this for everything.
Yeah, you're adding
So it's
a
kind of
layer
like
of the structure.
self-supporting. Yeah. So it's kind of like other pieces of the model are supporting each other in a sense, so it
Yes.
doesn't break, right? Yeah.
Yes, of course. And of course, for such a dynamic pose,
Yeah.
we have to make sure it has a very good plug, so it not bends. Because why this plug is on this direction and not this one? Because the hinge of tension, right? There's a tension here. So we figured out in many tests that we do, that will work better a plug that is forcing the miniature in an angle that is not easily bended. If a plug is straightforward, it can bend more easily than a plug that's like this other direction.
How deep is your plug? How many millimeters are you going?
It's how much the base allow us. That is quite not. We have to make sure that everything is every problem is minimized by a variety of resin, a variety of people handling it. So we always go over on safety.
Yeah, that's another
that's
great tip
cool.
you just shared. Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got a question for you real quick, if it's
Yeah.
okay. What tips do you have for glue ups? Like, do you guys use a specific type of glue to make sure that it is, or do you rely on like pressure fit?
Oh, yeah. We have glues, the brands that we have here in Brazil, but we always buy the most quality ones. But it's like the super glue, and we use a lot accelerators for the glue. When you put the glue on a piece, it will you will take time to endurance to be harder. So you will put a glue on one part, do a little spray of acceleration accelerators, glue, and then you put the other part. Then you instantly get without warping or your precision, or your hands precision are not too good, something like that.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Yeah.
Another thing that I can share with you guys real quickly is as you can see, his weapon is quite thin right here. So we use a lot of this is the move with backspace mask. So you do this. You have to isolate this blade. Imagine this blade looks like it's very thickened already, right? But when you see it at this scale, it's quite thin. We always have to we have to let go of the zoom always,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And go back here to remember that we have to think small.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're at time, but
Okay.
unfortunately, there's. But I'm going to 2 more questions. One was probably an easy one. I'm more intrigued for your team being in Brazil. Have you found that your team using the Portuguese Brazilian version of ZBrush, switching to that, or you guys are still staying in the English version? I see that you're still English.
No, everything in English is the main.
There's your frog.
Is the main language.
There's your frog.
Ian, there's your frog.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He was
You know, he went and found the frog.
Yeah,
he was doing
that. Yeah, I got to get this one. I got to get this one.
I feel like we're gonna get a frog in every presentation now. So real quick, though, last question before we let you go. Usually, what is the time frame for sculpting your miniatures? What do you guys get? A week? Do you guys get a day? Do you get 2 days? Do you get 2 weeks?
We got live like 10 days.
10 days? 10 days.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay.
But is that
For a
full
sculpture like
production or just the sculpture? Like
Just the
full
sculpture.
production?
Just the sculpture.
Okay.
We always aiming for high quality, so it takes a little more time.
Yeah.
Than usual.
Yeah.
And this frog is actually a Brazilian frog. It's a sapo cururu.
Yeah.
We're buying
how do you say that
Ian a
again?
frog. We're getting Ian a frog. Dang it.
Cururu, sapo cururu.
Kururu?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Oh, I
Ian,
love
we're
it. I
getting you
love
the
this.
file.
You're getting
let's-
all
let's-
the species of frogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have
Love
to go
it.
get this piece now. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you so
awesome.
much, Robson.
It's a sweet piece too. Yeah. You guys do amazing work, man. Thank you so much
Thank you very much.
for being a part of this, taking the time out of your day. Both of you, I know you got colleagues online as well, taking time to be with us. We can't thank you guys enough. You gave some nice, really great tips, great workflow. So we can't thank you for everything you've done for the community. You guys are willing to share. This is why we do the ZBrush Summit as well. So
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's
Thank you so much.
it's a real honor to be here at the ZBrush. And on behalf of Loot Studios, I would like to thank you so much for being here and sharing this passion with us. I hope this inspires who's listening to create miniatures that not only look great, but also that mean something. Miniatures that tell stories.
Yeah.
what you guys do. You guys do a beautiful job. Beautiful work to you and the team. Just incredible. So happy you guys were able to share your work with us too.
Yeah.
Thank you
No,
very much.
seriously, thank you so much. Yeah, this is awesome.
Obrigado.
If you have any questions after, I will have my social medias or anything. So I will.
Feel
I
free
will
to
be
reach out to
available.
us as well. Like,
Yeah.
feel free to reach out to us if you guys need anything. You know, like we're always available. And again, thank you again for being part of this. This is wonderful work. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
there's
very
his
much.
social media again,
I'm really
guys. We'll
happy.
keep that up for a minute so you guys can see that again. His Instagram. Again, this is also on the presentations page, so you guys can get direct links of his Instagram and his ArtStation.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
All right.
in
Yes.
Happy Sculpting.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll let you go and getting on with the rest of your Saturday. Can't appreciate it enough. Thank you for being here. It's been an honor, a pleasure to have you here, be in the first kickoff for the 2025 ZBrush Summit presentations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep. We'll be back. We'll be giving away some prizes. All right.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah. Bye.